You ever watch Prime Mike Tyson and think, what the hell am I actually looking at? Not just the knockouts, not just the highlights, the way he moved, the way he stalked forward, the way they trained their entire lives suddenly looked like they had never thrown a punch before. 91 seconds, gone. 30 seconds, gone. 2 minutes, erased. And here's what nobody wants to say out loud. We will never see anything like it again. Not because fighters aren't talented enough. Not because the sport has gotten soft, but because what Tyson was doing inside that ring was built on a system so revolutionary, so demanding, and so perfectly matched to one specific human being that it may never exist again in the same form. The Peekaboo style, the most feared fighting system in boxing history. It appeared. It dominated. And then it vanished like it was never there. No elite heavyweight has successfully used it since. Not one. And that's the question that has haunted boxing for over 3 decades. Was the Peekaboo style ahead of its time? Or was Mike Tyson simply the only man alive who could ever make it work? To find the real answer, we have to go back further than most people go. Back before Tyson, back before the fear and the knockouts and the legend. Back to a single man sitting in a gym in the Bronx in the early 1950s, asking questions about boxing that nobody had ever thought to ask before. His name was Cus D'Amato. The world knew him as Cus, and he was not just a trainer. He was a revolutionary, a man so far ahead of his time that the boxing establishment spent years trying to destroy him because they couldn't control him. D'Amato refused to work with the International Boxing Club, the corrupt organization run by mobster Frankie Carbo that controlled virtually every major fighter and every major fight in America at the time. He was blacklisted. His fighters were frozen out of title shots. He operated his gym on a shoestring while powerful men tried to starve him out of the sport. But D'Amato was immovable because he believed he had discovered something, a fighting system that could change everything. His problem was simple and brutal. He had talented fighters, but they were smaller than their opponents. In boxing, size has always been the great equalizer. Reach wins fights, height controls distance. And conventional boxing in the 1950s was built entirely around these advantages. Stand tall, extend the jab, control range, pick your shots. D'Amato thought this was fundamentally wrong, or at least fundamentally incomplete. He studied every fight film he could find. He studied military combat techniques. He studied the psychology of fear and aggression, and he arrived at a conclusion that sounded almost insane at the time. What if a shorter fighter never gave a taller opponent the distance they needed? What if instead of retreating from power, you moved directly into it, underneath it, where leverage disappears and reach means nothing? What if you could make a fighter feel so defensively overwhelmed and so psychologically broken that they were defeated before the first significant punch landed? This was the birth of Peekaboo boxing, and D'Amato's first proof of concept would shock the entire sport. Floyd Patterson, 1956, new heavyweight champion of the world at 21 years old. The youngest in history at that point, but Patterson was genuinely small for a heavyweight, fighting around 189 pounds against men who outweighed him significantly. By conventional logic, he had no business being champion. The Peekaboo style made conventional logic irrelevant. Patterson would slip inside a jab, erase the reach advantage in an instant, and detonate combinations before an opponent could recover. He moved in a way heavyweights simply weren't supposed to move, and D'Amato had built every bit of it. But here's what most people don't know about Patterson's reign. When he lost to Sonny Liston in 1962, knocked out in the first round, D'Amato was watching and learning. Liston had overwhelmed the system through pure physical force at a level the Peekaboo hadn't encountered before. D'Amato filed that information away. The style needed to evolve. It needed a fighter with not just the technique, but the raw physical attributes to make it completely indestructible. He spent years looking for that fighter, training Jose Torres to the light heavyweight championship in 1965, developing the system further, refining the drills, deepening his understanding of the psychological component. And then in 1979, a 13-year-old boy from Brownsville, Brooklyn, walked into his life, and Cus D'Amato, who had seen thousands of fighters. apparently told his companion Camille Ewald that same night that the boy would be heavyweight champion of the world. Mike Tyson had been transferred to the Tryon School for Boys in Johnstown, New York, after a childhood that reads like a survival manual. His father was gone before he was born. His mother struggled. He was robbing people by the time he was 10, fighting constantly, arrested dozens of times. A social worker named Bobby Stewart recognized something in the young Tyson. A raw physical ferocity unlike anything he'd seen, and arranged for him to meet D'Amato. The old man saw it immediately. Not just the ferocity, the body, the architecture. 5 feet 10 inches with a naturally low center of gravity, explosive fast twitch muscle fiber, reflexes that were almost frightening, a neck so thick and strong it seemed engineered for the constant violent head movement the Peekaboo demanded, hands that could generate devastating power thrown from angles no opponent would expect. D'Amato became Tyson's legal guardian, moved him into the house in Catskill, and began one of the most intense and intimate athletic development programs in sports history. Every single day was dedicated to burning the Peekaboo system into Tyson's muscle memory until it wasn't something he performed, but something he simply was. D'Amato would sit ringside in a chair. His eyesight was failing by this point, and call out corrections with extraordinary precision. He could hear mistakes in footwork. He could sense when the head movement was half a beat off. He understood the system at a level nobody else alive could match. But D'Amato wasn't only building a fighter, he was building a mind. He would talk to Tyson for hours about fear, about the nature of courage, about what separated champions from everyone else. He told Tyson that the hero and the coward feel exactly the same fear. What separates them is what they do with it. He built a psychological framework inside Tyson that was as sophisticated as the physical system he was drilling into his body. He made Tyson study fight films obsessively. Jack Dempsey, the original swarming, aggressive heavyweight whose pressure style influenced elements of the Peekaboo. Henry Armstrong, the only man to hold 3 world titles simultaneously whose perpetual motion attack was a direct philosophical ancestor of what D'Amato was building. Roberto Duran, whose inside work and physical dominance D'Amato respected enormously. Tyson absorbed all of it, and D'Amato synthesized it through the Peekaboo framework, and what emerged by the time Tyson turned professional in March 1985 was something the heavyweight division had genuinely never seen. Now let me break down exactly what made it work, because the details matter enormously here. The stance first, traditional boxing, lead hand extended, head upright, weight distributed to control distance. Tyson's stance was the opposite of all this. Both gloves held high beside the face, elbows tight to the body protecting the ribs, head slightly forward with the chin tucked behind the lid shoulder. The guard formed a wall that deflected straight punches while leaving Tyson's vision completely clear. He could see everything while being protected by everything. That's where the name came from. Peekaboo. Because the fighter peeks through the guard. But the guard alone wasn't enough. D'Amato understood that any static position gets decoded eventually, so the head was never still. Tyson's head moved in constant subtle patterns, bobbing, weaving, slipping, rolling, making him an almost impossible target even for punches that navigated through the guard. The target moved before the punch arrived. Then the footwork. D'Amato developed what he called shifting, a rapid weight transfer that allowed Tyson to generate maximum power from either side without resetting his feet. Most fighters telegraph power shots because loading up requires visible preparation. Tyson's shifting was invisible. He could throw a right hook to the body, shifting all his weight into it, then instantly transfer and throw a right uppercut to the head from a completely different angle before the opponent's guard could respond. The combination attacked angles that simply couldn't be covered simultaneously. And then the entry, the moment that made elite fighters look helpless. Tyson didn't approach slowly. He exploded forward with a sudden burst that closed the distance before an opponent's nervous system could register the change. He would slip the opponent's lead jab as he entered, moving his head offline so the punch found nothing, and be inside throwing before the opponent could reset. For fighters trained to control range from the outside, This was a genuine crisis. Their entire game plan assumed a buffer of distance that Tyson eliminated in an instant. D'Amato also understood something most trainers never fully grasped. He said fighting is 90% mental, and he engineered Tyson's psychological presence as deliberately as he engineered his physical technique. The all-black trunks, no socks, no elaborate entrance, no showmanship. Tyson would appear in the ring like something inevitable. The image of him moving forward. Muscles tight under the skin, gloves high, head in constant motion, eyes locked, sent a message that bypassed rational thought and went directly to the primitive brain. There is nothing you can do about what is coming. Fighters who had technically prepared for Tyson still hesitated when they saw him, because fear creates hesitation, and a half-second of hesitation against the Peekaboo system was all Tyson needed. By 1987, Tyson was undisputed heavyweight champion of the world at 20 years old, the youngest in history. Breaking the record Patterson had set, his first 28 fights produced 26 knockouts. Fighters who lasted into the later rounds described the experience of facing him as unlike anything in boxing. The constant pressure, the angles arriving from places they couldn't defend, the psychological weight of knowing that every second he was inside, something catastrophic was building. And then November 4th, 1985, D'Amato dies. Tyson is 19 years old and the man who built everything is gone. And this is the moment that determined everything that followed. The Peekaboo style isn't natural. None of it is instinctive. It has to be rebuilt every day through specific drilling that reinforces every technical layer simultaneously. D'Amato understood this completely. Kevin Rooney, who took over, understood it well enough to maintain the system through Tyson's greatest years. But when Don King maneuvered Rooney out in 1988, the daily maintenance of the system stopped. And without that maintenance, the erosion was gradual but inevitable. The head movement became slightly less consistent. The entries became marginally more predictable. The psychological armor that D'Amato had spent years constructing began to develop cracks as Tyson's personal life collapsed around him. By February 1990 in Tokyo, Booster Douglas, a significant underdog who had simply prepared more thoroughly and fought more courageously than anyone expected, exposed those cracks completely. Tyson was still dangerous, still had the power, but the complete system was gone. What remained was a powerful fighter operating on fragments of a revolutionary style without the technical precision that had made it indestructible. The losses to Holyfield in 1996 and 1997 confirmed it. Lewis in 2002 made it definitive. So why has nobody rebuilt it? Why has the most effective offensive and defensive system the heavyweight division has ever seen simply disappeared? 3 reasons, and each one is more fundamental than the last. The physical demands are genuinely extreme. Constant head movement for 12 rounds at heavyweight isn't difficult. It's close to physiologically impossible for most athletes. The neck strength required is extraordinary. The leg power needed to maintain explosive burst capacity while staying in a low continuous stance drains a fighter in ways that don't show on screen. The style was designed for a compact, naturally explosive heavyweight. Modern championship fighters are often 250 pounds or more. The athletic demand at that size is a completely different equation. The knowledge disappeared with D'Amato. His system wasn't written in a manual. It lived in his mind, in specific drills and precise corrections developed over decades. Teddy Atlas learned pieces of it. Rooney learned pieces of it. But the complete integrated system with all its interconnected technical demands was lost when D'Amato died. You can watch every Tyson fight ever filmed and understand what the Peekaboo looks like. Knowing what it looks like and knowing how to build it in another human being are completely different things. And then the hardest truth. Mike Tyson was a biological anomaly. The version of the Peekaboo that made him historically dominant required a specific combination of physical gifts that may genuinely never appear simultaneously in a single heavyweight fighter again. The hand speed, the punching power from impossible angles, the neck strength for continuous head movement, the natural low center of gravity, the explosive entry speed, the psychological capacity for controlled aggression under extreme pressure. Remove any one element and the style still functions, but with vulnerability. Tyson had every element simultaneously at heavyweight. D'Amato built the most sophisticated fighting engine in the history of the division. Tyson was the only chassis ever engineered perfectly enough to run it. You can see fragments of the DNA surviving. Canelo Alvarez uses D'Amato's shifting technique to throw hooks from either side with maximum power. A direct technical inheritance from those Catskill drills. David Tua's explosive inside work carried the spirit of the approach. In gyms across the world, coaches teaching shorter fighters to get inside against taller opponents are applying principles D'Amato developed before most of them were born. But the complete system at the highest level of the sport? It's gone. What D'Amato and Tyson created together was one of those rare moments in sports history when the right mind found the right body at exactly the right time and produced something that redefined what was possible. Like Pele in total football, like Ali and his specific reinvention of heavyweight movement, like Gretzky seeing the ice in a way nobody before or since has been able to replicate, burned with an intensity that the heavyweight division had never seen and has not seen since. And the reason it disappeared is also the reason it was so extraordinary. It was built for one man by one genius. It was perfect, and perfection in sport is almost always unrepeatable. The style may be gone from the championship stage, but D'Amato's greatest lesson survives in every fighter who refuses to accept the limitations that conventional wisdom tries to place on them. In every trainer who looks at an undersized, overlooked kid and sees not what they are, but what they could become with the right system and the right belief. That lesson will never disappear. Drop in the comments. Who do you think comes closest to the Peekaboo principles in the modern game? And do you believe we'll ever see a heavyweight champion run the complete system again? Subscribe if this gave you something real. Back to boxing. Every week we go deeper. Let's go.